Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Like Heriberto said, my name is Jasmine Elliott. I work at the district office in the college and career readiness department. Today, our presentation is on the transition or transition to high school, so from eighth grade to ninth grade. Um, if you have any questions, you can unmute or raise your hand. I'll be happy to answer it, or you can send it in the chat. And at the end, we'll have time for just general questions that could be related to the presentation or could be separate. So thanks for coming. Excited to get started. All right. So transition to high school, eighth to ninth grade, specifically a parent guide, but could be for students too. So I wanted to first talk a little bit about credits and what they are. So in high school, and all the high schools in Twin Rivers, we require 220 credits in order to graduate with your diploma, walk across the stage, shake your principal's hand, and officially graduate high school. Every course um, that students take, every year-long course is worth 10 credits. So they're going to earn 5 credits in the fall and 5 credits in the spring. All of our high schools run on a 6-period day with a traditional schedule. So every class is about an hour. They'll have them every day. So each year, students have the opportunity to earn 60 credits. If students pass every class every year, they can earn 240 credits. So there is a little bit of wiggle room in terms of credits needed versus credits that they could earn. I like to tell students, like, obviously try your hardest to pass every class, but we know sometimes things come up, right? Family, personal, mental health, friends, things can happen, things can get in the way where sometimes we don't feel like we're performing our best in a class and we may not pass. That's okay. In this situation, luckily for our students, there's enough room where they can still recover if there's only 1 or 2 classes that they don't pass. So again, 220 credits to graduate. You have wiggle room for having a few semesters that don't go exactly how you're expecting them to go, and still being able to graduate from their high school. Any questions on credits? Okay. I can't see everyone, so if you do have a question, just go ahead and unmute yourself or send it in the chat. I can see the chat. Um, okay. I
Can
wanted
the
to talk a little
student
bit about, oh, go ahead.
can the student make up for the credits?
Oh,
Or is there
that's a
like
good
any extra
question.
credits? Yes.
Yeah, excellent question. There's definitely ways that students can either make up credits or earn credits more quickly. If our students take college classes, they're earning double the credits. So every 1 semester is worth 10 credits in a college class. And then we also offer summer school for all of our high school students so they can attend summer school and make up any classes that they did not pass. Or we also offer credit recovery options during the school year, usually either before or after. Yeah, so summer school is offered for every at not at every high school, but for every high school, sometimes at the high school, sometimes at a different site. And then there's also options during the school year to make up credits, especially if they just need one class and they want to do it before school or after school instead of summer. That's a really good opportunity for our students. Good question. Okay. So I wanted to talk a little bit about these graduation requirements, and what that looks like, and then we'll talk about those versus A through G requirements, because both of these are topics we really want our students and their families to be familiar with. So on the left here, you can see the TRUSD graduation requirements. So all 8 of our high schools, we have 5 just normal type high schools. We have an online high school, and we have 2 continuation high schools. They all have the same graduation requirements. So students need 4 years of English. So they're taking English every year and they need to pass all of their Englishes. They need 3 years of math. They need 2 years of science. Typically, for our students, that's going to be biology their freshman year and then chemistry their sophomore year. Social studies, all of our students take world history, US history, and then their senior year, they'll have government and econ. They need to take 1 year of either a fine art or a world language. So that's going to be art, choir, band, digital media, ag mechanics. Any of those are going to be fine arts. And then for world languages, we offer French, Hmong, or sorry, not French, Spanish, Hmong, and then through the college, we offer a few other options. Yes, I see someone raise their hand. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm trying to find out what about for eighth grade.
Like options in eighth grade or
Yes,
in eighth grade, they're like what class options they have, or what exactly are you asking?
so he can get his credit, so he can bring up the grades for eighth grade.
Oh, in eighth grade, I am not sure if they do credit recovery in eighth grade. I know they do summer school in at the middle schools, but I don't know if it's a credit recovery or an
Because
enrichment type thing.
my son's
Um,
going to high school.
They offer the 8 to 9 program. So it's not going to be recovering classes, but it is going to be kind of an enrichment 8 to 9 transition. I think
Mm.
Heriberto put the link in the chat. I would definitely recommend checking that out. Um, but we don't typically offer, you don't need to recover middle school credits to start high school.
Yeah, but I know you can't do your promotion unless you have less than like 4 Fs or 3 Fs or something like that.
Yeah, that would have to go. That's all kind of at the eighth grade level. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm if a student is in integrated math for eighth grade, they will only need 2 additional years of math in high school. Yes, Gabrielle, that is correct. If your student is taking integrated math one in eighth grade, they would technically only need to do integrated math two and integrated math three. However, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit when I talk about A through G, we love to see eighth graders take integrated math one, but typically those students will continue to take math all 4 years of high school because they still want to get through 2, 3 pre-calculus and then AP calculus. We really like to see our students get to AP calculus while they're in high school. And especially for our students who are planning to major in anything like science, technology, engineering, or math related, colleges want to see them taking calculus in high school. Yeah. Um, I see. Was the hand up? That was from the question that you had already asked, correct? Or did you have another question?
No,
Yeah,
this is
yeah, I was trying to see with this Zoom meeting, I thought this Zoom meeting was gonna discuss like the requirements to graduate. Is
This is
this,
going
do
to
you
talk
work at the
about
high
high
school?
school. This is specifically the transition from like into ninth grade, not
Okay,
really promotion from eighth grade. Yeah, we're
got
going to
it.
talk a lot about kind of being prepared to be in high school topics, differences, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jasmine, I just want to say
Yes.
that I've been sending messages just directly for our eighth grade families. So that's
Oh,
the reason
great.
why our families have been invited today is
Love
to
it.
learn about the transition to high school. For getting ready and to learn more about A through G, the CT programs, and also about the graduation requirements.
Okay, thank you. I saw a question about taking a language in eighth grade, also an excellent question. If it's called, if they're, if after their dual immersion K through 6 in seventh or eighth grade, if they took Spanish 1 or Spanish 2, within our district, that will show on their high school transcript and can count. If they haven't done a language in seventh or eighth grade after their dual immersion, they can probably go into Spanish native speakers, maybe even two, or straight into AP, and then they can be done with their language after taking AP. So they wouldn't need to do like 1, 2, 3, like most of our students would do. They might be able to skip some levels
Hey,
and
did you
start
have
right in the
testing
higher
today?
levels. Yeah. Um, if you're going to high school and they're not contacting you, yes. If your student is planning to continue in Twin Rivers, reach out to, actually, can you send your student's name, in the, or ID number in the chat, and I can look them up and see if they're, pre-enrolled at one of their high schools, and I'll do it at the end of the presentation.
What high
He's in
school are you gonna
advanced
be
math for
enrolled in,
eighth
JoJo?
grade. Advanced math can definitely help. Um, and it might prepare them more for just taking honors math versus skipping. But if your school doesn't offer integrated math one, your school might be offering an exam for skipping math one. So talk to your school counselor at the eighth grade to ask them if that's an option. Okay, I can see two hands are up. Let's go um, iPhone question. I'll send you a request to unmute in case you want to unmute. My daughter has taken Spanish since kindergarten and she continued seventh grade. She wants to focus on veterinary science. And has continued for seventh grade. Yeah, in seventh grade, if she's taking Spanish 1 and then we'll take Spanish 2, that's great. We would still encourage them to take Spanish 3 or AP in high school, but it wouldn't be mandatory, but we would strongly encourage it. Students should have already picked classes when their classes got a presentation sometime in February. You can reach out to the high school counselors, or if you guys wait until the end, I can totally look students up and see if their course requests are in. But let's save that until the end so that I can do the presentation, and then I'll be happy to look up students individually afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I recommend.
Yeah. Okay, I see a question about graduating early. That's something that you'll want to talk to your high school counselor about when you get to high school. There's a couple different ways. A lot of them involve summer school and or taking college classes. Okay. Um, those of you that sent your ID number, hang on to that. I'll try to hang on to it too. And at the end, I will look them up for you guys. Okay. Let's see. We talked about world languages and fine arts. You need 2 years of PE and then you take 1 semester of health. And then the remainder of the classes are going to be made up of what we call electives. So this is basically any class that doesn't fit in one of these categories or is above and beyond the minimum. So for example, you see science requires 20 credits. If they took a third year of science, which we highly recommend for our students, those extra 10 credits will become part of these 65 electives. So the remainder of their classes are usually just classes they want to choose. So that's going to be, CTE classes, which I'll talk about later, um, and other electives. I see another hand still. For iPhone, did you still have a question?
Jasmine, I would just go ahead and proceed along with the presentation.
Okay. Can someone translate the question into English that's in the chat? Heriberto, can you be on that so I can
Uh,
see what it is?
it is a Russian interpreter. So
Okay.
I would just say go ahead
Oh,
and
she
I'll
sent
look.
that to everyone. Okay, I see, I see. Okay, so that's what it takes to graduate from high school with your diploma. But some other requirements that we want to talk about are also our A through G requirements. They're super similar to our high school requirements. There's just a few differences. And then these are going to be the requirements if our students want to apply to any UCs or CSUs. So we have two big community college, or sorry, two big public university systems in California. And they got together and they said, what would we like our students to take in high school to be prepared? Or what are we seeing our students who are successful having taken? And so they agreed on a set list of 7 courses or 7 subjects that students need to take in order to even apply to a UC or a CSU. So we call these A through G requirements. And they're pretty much the same as our graduation requirements, except for one big difference. So history, pretty much the same. English, pretty much the same. Math, same thing, 3 years required, but we highly recommend 4 years. Our students who are getting into UC Davis, UC Berkeley, UCLA, they're taking 4 years of math in high school. They're not stopping at three. Laboratory sciences, same thing, same as our graduation requirements, but our most competitive students are taking 3 years of science. This next two sections, letter E and letter F, these are the two biggest differences. So, just to graduate high school, students only need to take a language or a visual and performing art. In order to be eligible for the UCs or CSU, you need to do both. So, you're going to take a year of a visual and performing art, and they're also going to take 2 years or get to the second level of a language other than English. So, they need to have completed Spanish 2, Hmong 2, a college language, something like that, and that will meet the language requirement. Excuse me. And then the last part is one elective. We do not have issues with our students meeting this requirement. 99% of our courses within the district are A through G electives. So if they take student leadership, that can count as their elective. If they take a fourth year of math, that'll count as their elective. If they take drama, that will count as their elective. So we don't have a lot of issues with students meeting that requirement. I'm the mother of eighth grade at Pioneer. What is required for her to advance to the ninth grade? In order to advance from the eighth to ninth grade, nothing is required. All of our eighth graders advance to the ninth grade. The 220 credits is once they reach high school. Yeah. I'm seeing people send me ID numbers. Hold on to those. And at the end, after my presentation and after questions, I'm happy to take the time to look your students up and see what school they're going to. For
And
sure. No problem.
one thing to mention to everybody, most students, all students are, based on your home address, you have a elementary school, middle school, and a high school based on that address. Some families have requested an intra-district, a transfer between schools, and that is something that is being worked on. If you request a homeschool that is not your home high school that belongs to you, and that is something that potentially might not be, something that, that might be a change, just as a reference.
Thank you. Okay. So those are our graduation requirements. The A through G is on the right. Again, very similar with the main difference being taking a language other than English and a visual and performing art. All right, I thought I'd talk a little bit about some differences between junior high and high school. A big one, and this has kind of been touched on with what you guys are asking in the chat, but in junior high, our students are generally just promoted to the next grade level, right? A seventh grader who doesn't pass seventh grade English is going to go on and take eighth grade English. A sixth grader who doesn't pass sixth grade math is going to continue on to seventh grade math. In high school, that does not happen. You have to earn the credits in order to graduate. So if a student does not pass integrated math 1, they are going to retake integrated math 1. If they do not pass English 9, they are going to need to retake English 9 to earn those credits in order to graduate. Getting an F does not earn you credits, so they will need to retake the class. In junior high, similarly, grades and credits may not be considered for promotion. I'm hearing kind of that they have promotion requirements, like not having a certain number of D's and F's to participate in the ceremony, but those students are still going to continue on to ninth grade. That's not the case in high school. They're going to need to pass their classes to graduate. In junior high, they have a limited number of courses to choose from. Maybe they have a digital media class, maybe they have art and Spanish, but probably not a whole lot of other things. In high school, they're going to have a lot more to choose from. We have academies. So Grant has the Geo Academy, Criminal Justice Academy. Rio Linda has an Agriculture Academy. There's a lot of options in terms of specialized courses that students can take. We also have CTE pathways, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. We have AP courses, which are our advanced placement courses. Those are a great opportunity for our students to take an exam at the end of the year and try to earn, and they'll earn college credit if they pass the exam. And then ARC courses are our college courses, and I am going to talk about those a little bit later as well. In high school, it's really important that our students are maintaining a 2.0 GPA, as well as good attendance if they want to play sports, if they want to get a work permit once they're old enough, or to help them qualify for good financial aid, to help them um, pay for college. So really important that we're keeping those grades up. Okay, I saw a couple chapters. Is integrated math a lower level of math? Yeah, so we used to say algebra one, right? Like when I was in high school, I took algebra one, I took geometry, and then I took algebra two. Now we have an integrated math series. So they took algebra one, geometry, and algebra two, and they put parts of them in each level. So in when they take integrated math one, they're getting a little bit of geometry, they're getting a little bit of algebra two, and they're getting a little bit of algebra one. So it's just a different name for the sequence. So it'll be algebra one, or what used to be algebra one, geometry, algebra two is integrated math one, integrated math two, and integrated math three. Uh, district. Yeah. Okay.
I have a question. How does
Yeah.
this work for students who have IEP?
An excellent question. Your IEP will continue at the high school. You'll continue to have those meetings where you determine the best possible course placement for your student. I don't know exactly kind of what kind of classes your student takes, but they'll kind of determine that. Most of our students with an IEP still have a lot of their classes with their classmates. Some of them might have their curriculum support class, or some of them might be in classes that are a slightly different curriculum. It really depends, but 90% of our students are still on the graduation track, even though they have an IEP. So they're still needing to earn those credits the same way as our other students.
Okay, so the credit stipulation thing will still remain the same for our
Yes.
IEP students. It'll just be in a different pathway, kind of, I guess, for them to get
It's
them.
mostly the same, but some of the course names are just a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah, the only
Okay.
exception would be if your student takes foundation classes and
Mhm.
then they're on a certificate track instead of our graduation track.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Some benefits of being A through G. Um, it's the only way to be eligible to apply for four-year colleges and universities. So you cannot go straight to Sac State if your student is not meeting A through G requirements. This is an opportunity for them to partake in rigorous and college preparatory coursework. They're going to be in better standing to receive scholarships, grants, and other financial assistance. There are a lot of scholarships out there that require a certain GPA, or could require having taken certain classes, and A through G can help put them on that track. And then it can also better prepare them to enter the workforce, go to a trade school, join the military, or an apprenticeship. We still encourage all of our students to stay on track for A through G, regardless of their plans after high school, especially because they could change their mind. And if they're not on the path and then they get to senior year and they think, well, actually, maybe I do want to go to college, we don't want to have to be playing catch up or tell them, unfortunately, you won't be eligible. We want to give them a lot of chances to stay on track just in case that's a pathway that they decide to do. Thought I'd talk a little bit about the PSAT, SAT, and ACT. These are all college exams that students can take. The PSAT, our students would take as a freshman or sophomore or junior. And this is just kind of to prepare them for the SAT, and it also can qualify them for the National Merit Scholarship. SAT and ACT exams are used by a lot of colleges for college entrance. California colleges mostly no longer require them, but a lot of private colleges still do. So if your student is planning to go to Stanford or USC, or maybe University of Alabama, they might still require the SAT or ACT. You'd need to look up that school specifically. The PSAT and SAT test reading, writing, and math, whereas the ACT adds in science. So some of our students who feel that they're stronger in science will also take the SAT, or sorry, will take the ACT because they think that they'll get a chance to showcase their science skills, and it can help there. Leadership opportunities. I know our students get involved in a lot of things in middle school, but high school is really the time to branch out and figure out what other kinds of things they can be involved in. They could be involved in leadership. They can join clubs. They can play sports. Once they're old enough, they can get a job. Volunteer work is a really, really good opportunity for them to give back to their community, but also have something to put on their resumes. And then there's also different awards that they can win. And specifically, the UC application has 20 spots for activities and awards. Something that I tell my ninth graders is to start like a Google Doc or a notes in their phone app where they just put down things that they get involved in. That way, when they get to their senior year and they're doing their application, they don't have to sit down and think, oh my gosh, when I was in ninth grade, what did I do? They can just look at their sheet and see, oh, in ninth grade, I was in Mecha and I helped plan the event for La Posada. Or I was the treasurer for a key club. They can kind of just look back on their notes. So I highly recommend they start when they're freshman year and just add to it every time they're involved in something in high school. Okay. I know I saw a couple questions about college classes in high school. So let's talk a little bit about that. Students can start taking college classes from ninth grade. Um, this is a really great opportunity for our students to earn college credit while they're still in high school. There's a lot of pros, but it's also something we try to caution the students about, and remind them that these grades go onto their college transcripts and are a permanent part of their college record. So if students don't do well, we don't want that to be reflected on their college transcript. So we like to have them wait if they're not sure or they're nervous, and maybe start their 10th grade year or in the spring. It's a great chance to just experience college level courses, to become a more competitive student for college applications. Um, they can start taking classes that are aligned with their future career. For example, I have a student right now who's taking medical terminology and two of the nursing prerequisites because they know they want to go into nursing. I have another student who knows they want to study psychology, so they're getting a degree in psychology. So there's such a variety of classes that they can get involved in. It's going to boost their GPA, and the biggest thing is that these college classes are entirely free for high school students. So we buy the books. There's no fees. I was just telling the group this morning in Spanish that one of the classes that some of our students are taking, the book is $200. And we are purchasing that book for all of the students. So that's saving them money both by taking classes ahead of time and also by purchasing the materials for our student. If your student is interested in this program, you could let me know with give me their information and I can make sure that it gets passed on to the right people. Sorry. Yes. So this college classes in high school is basically our high school students are also college students. So they take college classes at the same time as high school. Some of our students have finished the equivalent of 2 years of college while they're still in high school. So a really great opportunity for our students. Okay, college options. Let me just, oops, sorry, I'm just gonna make a note really quick of a few things. ID number. Don, can you send your student's name to the chat so I can write it down as well? And what, maybe what elementary school they go to? Okay. No, just the one who had, I saw a chat in there that said my student is interested in, perfect. Okay, Ava. Let me write that down. I don't wanna forget that. And I will make sure that that information gets to the right people. Ava. Newton. Angelica, can you send your student's name in the chat for me? Um, okay, perfect. Sorry, I don't want these to get lost in the masses of the chat. Okay, perfect. I got those. And I can collect more names at the end as well. Let me figure out. There we go. Okay. All right. California college options. So we've got two sets of public universities. The CSU system, which is these are our state schools. There are 23 campuses throughout California. Our nearest one is Sacramento State. Everything from Humboldt, which is our farthest north CSU, all the way down to San Diego State in Southern California. You do not need to take the SAT or ACT for these colleges. Minimum GPA requirement is a 2.5. Sometimes they'll consider students with a 2.0, but the average for our more competitive community or for our more competitive CSUs is still a 3.0. The University of California, there are 9 of these campuses. Our nearest one is UC Davis. They also do not require an SAT or ACT. Their application requires essays that students will write. The minimum GPA is a 3.0, but the average tends to be 3.8 and above. So for example, UC Davis, their average GPA last year for their freshman class, I think was a 3.9 to a 4.2. So our UCs do tend to see more competitive GPAs. My son is still unsure of what he wants. How can I? Totally normal for our 8th grade students to not be sure what they want. I would say I love that he's into wrestling and football. That's going to help him keep those grades up because they need good grades for sports. And the best thing for him to do would be just to pick a class that he's interested in for his elective, whether that's a CTE class or maybe if he's not interested in a particular class, taking the first world language course, and he'll have plenty of time to figure out what's interesting to him as he continues on in high school. Yeah. And then, oh yeah, UC Davis Vet School, very can be very competitive. I would say Ag Academy at Rio Linda could be a great opportunity. The other thing would be meeting A through G, strongest GPA possible, and taking some college and AP classes would be really good for getting to UC Davis. Yeah. Okay, some more college options. We've got California community colleges. Lucky us, California has the biggest community college system in the country. We have 116 community colleges. This is an amazing opportunity for our students who are still figuring out after high school what they want to do, or are looking to save money. Our community colleges in the area are fantastic. Many of them transfer to UCs and CSUs, UC Berkeley, UC Davis, UCLA. So it's a really, really good opportunity to save some money because they are cheaper. And they don't have GPA requirements. So some of our students who realize after high school, like, okay, I might not have done my best, but I want to try again now. Community college is going to be a great chance for them to get a fresh start and start over. Hi, Miriam. We were just talking about taking college classes in high school. And so some people had sent their student information because they wanted me to make sure that they were on the list as being able to get into that for their freshman year. Yes, it is being recorded and we will send it out at a later date, probably tomorrow or the next day. Possibilities are endless. We have the country is full of different colleges. There's tons of different programs and tons of different requirements, but generally, meeting A through G will make you eligible for most colleges. But if it's out of California, it's going to be important to look it up ahead of time. Competitiveness and cost can really vary, and they could have different unique qualities as well, or be known for certain things. For example, we have a group of colleges that are called Historically Black Colleges and Universities, or HBCUs. You can see these are mostly located in the southeastern portion of the United States. Um, I have included some links on my presentation that you guys can go to in case you want to learn more about our HBCUs and what they have to offer. Sorry, I'm thirsty. Um, um, I see a question in Spanish. I know that there are eighth grade students who are not
Allah.
enjoying school, but hopefully they can find classes that are interesting to them, and kind of re-get them interested. And I'm going to talk a little bit about CTE. So that might be a good opportunity for your
Allah.
student. Yes,
You need for speak Arabic.
I
We
think we have a translator.
we only have we have interpretation today in Dari, in Spanish, and in Russian.
No, we need for you need for speak Arabic for gas station also.
We don't have Arabic interpreter. I could send you the contact for somebody who could speak in our department that you could share the information in Arabic if you want. I'll send it to you.
Thanks, Heriberto. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about our CTE programs. That stands for Career Technical Education. And some of you who might think, my students aren't super interested in school, college isn't on their radar. CTE can be something great to get them kind of re-interested in parts of school, as long as they're attending. So Career technical education is they're programs that students get to choose. They're electives, um, and they can help prepare students for good paying jobs in high demand work fields. They can help provide a direct pathway to either education after high school or directly into a career after high school. And students who participate in these programs have a higher chance of securing employment after graduation in that field. Um, What is CTE? I think of it as hands-on learning. It's going to be project-based. There's going to be field trips. There's going to be guest speakers, internship opportunities, job shadowing, career exploration. You can get certificates. It really helps them prepare for the next stage of life. They get networking opportunities with industry partners, and they can really make a connection to the school community. You can see in this picture, these are pictures of our sports academy kids. So this is at Grant, and they do all sorts of athletic training, athletic testing, preparing students who might be interested in working in athletics later in life. Here's some examples of CTE sectors. We have transportation, business and finance, fashion and interior design, education, child development, building and construction trades. So there's a lot of types of CTE. And on this slide, you can see what we offer in our district. So we have criminal justice at Grant. So that's going to be that law enforcement academy. We have diesel engine at Highlands. That is great for that hands-on mechanics. We have culinary at Foothill and Rio Linda. Our students love culinary. They not only get to cook, but they also get to eat, which is they love. We have early childhood education. So if someone is interested in working with children or working in education, almost all of our high schools will be offering this next year. Highlands has architectural design. Foothill High School and Vista have construction. Yes, I can check at the end if your student is registered for one of our high schools. I can. Or Heriberto can if you send him your information. Grant has computer science. Business is at Grant and Vista as well. And then we have sports and health medicine at Grant and Foothill. Rio Linda has agriculture. Grant has an agriculture pathway. And then a lot of our high schools have media arts pathways as well. So digital media, photo, that sort of thing. Highly recommend our students get involved in CTE classes because our kids love them. Some different benefits. I mentioned these a little bit earlier, but I'll go over them again. They can earn certificates. More than 70% of CTE completers pursue post-secondary education after high school, whether that's a trade school, community college, or a four-year university. Involvement with CTE has been shown to minimize the risk of students dropping out. High school students involved in CTE are more engaged and perform better, as well as graduate at higher rates. And we see fewer disciplinary referrals for high school students involved in CTE as well. Here's just a few examples that you guys can look at later of our different programs. Here's culinary, TV video, ag mechanics, that's at Rio Linda, floral design, also at Rio Linda, Agri-Science Academy, and I linked the link to all the other ones as well in case you want to explore CTE pathways there. Anyone have questions on CTE? I can't emphasize enough that these are such great opportunities for our students to participate in the CTE pathways.
Is that something, so with the enrollment to the CTE, is that something that we have to do before the beginning of the freshman year for them? Or
No, I mean, we have a handful of students who start CTE as a ninth grader, but I would say the majority of our students start their CTE classes as 10th or 11th graders. So I would say they'll get that information probably next year once they're in ninth grade, going into their 10th grade year. And yes, Carmen, we have computer science at Grant specifically. Yeah. Cool. I wanted to talk a little bit about parent involvement. If it's something that you're interested in, all of our schools have school site council. So there's staff members, students, and parents on there. They can help advise the annual student plan for success. They look at things that need to be changed every year. They get to have a say in kind of how money can be spent and activities that are done. So if you feel like you want to have a say in what's happening at your child's school, school site council can be a really great opportunity. We have the ELAC, which is the English Learner Advisory Council. If any of your students are English learners, I highly recommend you participate in the ELAC meetings at your site. It's going to help you understand the program that's available for your student. And you can even help advise on what could be better or what could be done differently to better support your English learner students. Um, it can also help, you can also be given the opportunity to give input on ways to be to effective ways to ensure attendance. And then you can even represent at the district on the district English Language Advisory Committee. Again, if your student is an English learner, this is a great opportunity to have some say in your child's English learning pathway at school. Some other opportunities are to attend school-wide events like back to school night and open house, meet your teachers, meet the principals, get to know your students' academic journey, go to sports events, follow the district and the high school on social media, and then read any newsletters that go out. My team next year, you'll see, sends out a monthly newsletter specifically about college classes and A through G. So it's a really great place to learn about opportunities for your students and just make sure that you're preparing them for their post high school goals. So, you know, your involvement can really make a difference in your students' success and the opportunities that they're aware of to take advantage of. Here on the last slide, I've linked high school counseling information for all of the high schools in case you need to reach out. I know that there were some concerns in the chat that your student hadn't put in their course requests. I know that if they are at a middle school in the district, at some point they should have done course requests, assuming they weren't absent. However, you can still reach out to the counselor at the high school to confirm the classes. And that would apply. Carmen, is your question about counseling at charter schools or interdistrict transfers? Sorry. Counseling? Yeah, CCAA has a counselor. Her email is right there. You can reach out to her with any questions. Kima also has counselors. And so you can reach out to them with questions as well. Yeah. Okay, that is the end of my slideshow.